All right, so Michael Clark recently delved into, two key reasons why Trump is frightened of Putin as part of his Ukraine war Q&A on Sky News.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I found it intriguing how Clark links Trump's personal dealings with broader geopolitical dynamics.
Exactly. It's like, Trump's history with Russia and all the controversies surrounding his past interactions really come into play.
Right. So, would you say that one of the reasons is more about Trump's personal vulnerabilities?
Yes, absolutely. One of the reasons Clark touches on is that Trump, given his unique relationship with Russia, might be terrified of the inherent unpredictability in dealing with someone like Putin.
Right, unpredictability is key here. Right. And that unpredictability doesn't just shine in personal interactions, it extends to the realm of political and strategic maneuvering on the world stage too.
Yeah, it's like Trump knows that if Putin picks up on any of his weaknesses, there might be real political fallout.
Uh huh, exactly. It almost sounds like Trump is watching his own political potential being undermined by a power play from Putin, doesn't it?
Absolutely, exactly. And then Clark highlights another angle, which is tied to the broader ramifications from the Ukraine conflict. He suggests that Trump is also concerned about being caught in a geopolitical trap that could have major domestic repercussions.
I definitely caught that notion. So it's not just about personal history, but also about how global events, like the war in Ukraine, intersect with Trump's vulnerabilities.
Right, yeah. It's the intersection of his personal brand, yep, and the larger geopolitical chessboard. Imagine it like a high stakes poker game where even a slight misstep can reveal more than you bargained for.
Exactly. It's like the cards you're dealt can make or break you. I mean, it's interesting because, in a way, Clark's analysis touches on the idea of reciprocal fear. Trump fears the fallout from Putin's moves, and Putin might also be cautious because of Trump's unpredictable style.
Mm-hmm. Yet, if you look deeper, it seems that the focus here is squarely on Trump's apprehensions. It's almost as if his fear partly stems from knowing that Putin's calculated moves in the Ukraine war could further complicate the international order that Trump might still be trying to navigate.
Yeah, and one can argue that this dynamic is a stark departure from typical political rivalries. It's not just a debate about policies, it's a clash of very different approaches to power.
Right, and this is where I think Clark's perspective really shines, drawing that direct connection between personal leadership style and international strategy. It's like pointing out that sometimes the personal and the political are inseparable, especially at that level.
No doubt there. But wouldn't you say that Clark might be oversimplifying the dynamic a bit? I mean, Trump's political maneuvers have always had a layer of theatrics, and maybe he's just playing to his base rather than being genuinely fearful.
That's a fair critique, yeah. I mean, there's an argument to be made there. Trump may indeed be leveraging this narrative to shape public perception, but Clark seems to suggest that beyond the theatrics, there's a genuine concern stemming from real geopolitical risks, like Russia's growing influence in the Ukraine conflict.
I see your point. Yeah, and it's like Trump is stuck in this paradox where his braggadocio meets real world consequences that he might not fully control.
Exactly, and that paradox makes it all the more precarious. On one hand, you've got the larger scale of international politics with Russia, and on the other, there's Trump's personal vulnerabilities, which could undermine his position domestically if things go south.
Right, it's a double edged sword. The idea of a double edged sword is really apt, especially when we consider how both political influence and global power shifts can amplify existing personal insecurities.
Exactly. And Michael Clark frames it almost like Trump is paralyzed by the possibility of losing control in this high stakes game.
It's a wild ride. And speaking of high stakes, how do you think the ongoing Ukraine conflict factors into this? It's more than just another front, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. The war in Ukraine is a litmus test for global power dynamics. It's like a reality check that even a former president like Trump can't ignore. Clark implies that the renewed diplomatic efforts and the intense international focus on Ukraine forced Trump to reckon with these issues on a very personal
Right,
level.
sort of like being dragged back to the reality of international politics. Yeah, and in that sense, Trump's fear isn't just about one man or one leader. It's about a moment when the personal meets history head on.
Absolutely. It's like the moment when your past decisions, your personal style, and the global stage all converge in a way that might be hard to manage.
Very true indeed. Now, I've been thinking about this, and it raises a broader question. Do you think that personal vulnerabilities of leaders like Trump can actually tip the scales in global politics? Or, is it all just narrative spin?
Well, it's like imagine you're playing chess with the world. Each move you make has both strategic and personal resonance. Trump's vulnerabilities, whether real or manufactured for the media, can very well influence how others, including Putin, approach the game.
It's kind of a psychological chess match. Right, but here's my challenge. Doesn't that kind of reasoning risk oversimplifying the motivations behind international policies? I mean, don't geopolitical moves often involve calculated strategies beyond individual quirks?
That's a valid point, and Clark does acknowledge that global power plays have layers beyond personal idiosyncrasies. However, he argues that the personal element can be a significant, if not decisive, factor in the way policies are formulated, especially in crisis periods like the Ukraine war.
I can see that. So, in a sense, Trump's personal apprehensions aren't isolated. They're intertwined with the strategic uncertainty that other world leaders, like Putin, bring to the table.
Exactly, and it's that intertwining of personal and political that makes this discussion so compelling. It's like every move on the world stage is amplified when leadership styles collide with international realities.
Right, that interplay is what defines today's global politics. I also find it interesting how these discussions on platforms like Sky News add a layer of public scrutiny. Michael Clark isn't just sharing dry analysis, he's actively engaging with an audience that's hungry for insight into these complex dynamics.
For sure, and it's this kind of engagement that drives the conversation further. People aren't just watching a news segment, they're participating in a broader dialogue about accountability and power in international conflicts.
Yep, it really makes you think. And with every new diplomatic flurry or geopolitical twist, it's like the stakes are continually being reset. It keeps the whole narrative dynamic and, well, sometimes a bit unpredictable.
Right, and that unpredictability is exactly what seems to unsettle Trump. It's almost as if every time a new development surfaces in the Ukraine conflict, it reinforces the idea that global politics isn't a game where you can just, control the outcome through sheer force of personality.
That's a crucial observation. What I love, too, is how Michael Clark brings forward these layers of analysis that help us understand not just what is happening, but why leaders might behave in seemingly illogical ways.
Exactly. It's like peeling back an onion. Each layer reveals something about how personal ambition and geopolitical strategy can intersect so dramatically.
Right, exactly. So, to wrap it up, we could say that Trump's fear of Putin, as outlined by Clark, is a mix of personal vulnerability and the profound, sometimes unpredictable impact of global power dynamics, especially in contexts as volatile as the Ukraine war.
Yep, that's the crux of it. And it really reminds us that in international politics, even personal sentiments can reverberate on the world stage in ways that are frankly both fascinating and a bit unnerving.
Absolutely, it's a complex interplay indeed. This conversation really highlights how understanding these dynamics is essential, not just for policymakers, but for anyone trying to make sense of our turbulent global landscape.
Definitely, and it leaves us with a lot to ponder about the nature of power, fear, and diplomacy. Thanks for diving into this with me today.
Yeah, cheers to that.